Call the Owatonna City Council meeting to order for Tuesday, May 7th, and with that, may we have roll call?
Councilmember Svenby.
Here.
Trilson.
Here.
Dotson.
Here.
Schultz.
Here.
Burbank.
Here.
Rainey.
Here.
Abraham.
Here.
Mayor Kuntz.
Here.
We have all 7 of the council and the mayor present this evening.
Thank you. Please rise and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
With that, I would like to welcome everyone here tonight and look for the next item on the agenda, which is approval of the agenda. And I don't see any changes at this point, but I look forward to a motion.
Les, I believe we did need to add one item to the agenda, the waiver for the Corky's early bird.
Oh, yes, yes. That would be added to that for, on the consent agenda items.
What was that last in here?
What's that?
What was the item I didn't hear?
Changing the Corky's date from last week to this weekend.
Okay.
We have a motion by Brent Svenby
Second.
to approve, a second by Raymond Toulson. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? This has been approved. Next item on the agenda is our mayor recognition for previous board and commission members.
It takes about 80-some volunteers to fill all the different boards that we have for the city of Owatonna, and tonight we will recognize past board members that are going off, and we will also do oath of office for new ones coming on. But David Baxter, he served 13 3/4 years on the Fire Code Board of Appeals, and we will mail his plaque to him. Dave Evers.
Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you very, very much. The mayor and the city council express sincere appreciation and deep gratitude to David Efforts for 8 years of service on the Civil Service Commission.
Thank you.
Thank you very, very much.
Appreciate it.
Appreciate your service. Robert Hanson. Up. Thank you. Thanks for your dedicated service.
No problem.
City of Owatonna, the mayor and the city council express sincere appreciation and deep gratitude to Robert J. Hanson for 9 years of service on the Park and Recreation Board. Thank you. Yes. Joe Holmes. Joe, thank you very, very much for your service. Yep. City of Owatonna, the mayor and the city council express sincere appreciation and deep gratitude to Jill T. Holmes for 12 years of service on the Public Library Board. Thank you very, very much. Steve Murphy. Steve?
Yep.
Thank you very, very much for your service. The City of Owatonna, the mayor and the city council express sincere appreciation and deep gratitude to David W. Urke for 5 years of service on the Utility Commission. Thank you very, very much. Terry Johnson. Terry, thank you very, very much for your service. The City of Owatonna, the mayor and the city council express sincere appreciation and deep gratitude to Terry L. Jensen for 16 1/3 years of service on the Housing and Redevelopment Authority. Thank you.
Thank you.
Dave Colwetter, I don't see Dave tonight. Now, Coleman. You know, just because you retire doesn't mean that you got to go off the board, but I understand. The City of Owatonna, the mayor and the city council express sincere appreciation and deep gratitude to Alan D. Colander for 3.5 years of service on the Human Rights Commission. Thank you very, very much for your service. Kathleen Meyer, I don't think Kathleen's here. Kathleen had 11.5 years on the Planning Commission. Dave Olson. Dave Olson. Dave had 9 years on the Building Code of Appeals. Kevin Rainey. You can just sit. I just walk through. The mayor guys for remaining 11 years of service on the Park and Recreation Board. Thank you. Paul Snyder, I don't see Paul. Paul served 3 years on the Civil Service Commission. Beth Secor, I see Beth here. Beth, thank you very, very much for your service. The City of Owatonna, the Mayor and the City Council express sincere appreciation and deep gratitude to Beth Secor for 1 year of service on the Civil Service Commission. Thank you very, very much. Very unusual. I don't see Roger Wassick. Jerry White. As you walked in, everybody thought maybe you were looking for the Little Theater, but that's not the case. It was time to recognize you, so thank you. The City of Owatonna, the Mayor and the City Council express sincere appreciation and deep gratitude to Jerome L. White for 10 years of service on the Fire Code Board of Appeals. Thank you very, very much for your service. And that is recognizing the ones that had the prior service. With that, next, in front of you, you have a list of reappointments and new members. And so we'll look for the City Council to approve those, and we will do the oath of office for the new members after approval.
Thank you, Tom.
I'll move for approval.
We do have a motion to approve the reappointments by Raymond Toulson. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second by Greg Schultz. Any further discussion?
And new members.
And the new members, yes. Seeing none, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? These have been approved, Tom.
Okay, thank you very, very much. If I can get the new members just to come forward and line up here. Get you line up this direction, that way the camera can pick you up. So. I truly appreciate you all saying yes, because it's a challenge to be able to find people that want to volunteer. And a lot of you went through the Leadership Owatonna program and everything, understand what the value of the city brings. So thank each and every one of you for volunteering to do that. And raise your right hand and repeat after me. I, and then I'll have you say your name.
Matt Kopke. John Pfeiffer.
Cindy Halverson.
Tim Linders.
Vicki Almeida.
Do solemnly swear that I will support the Constitution of the United States,
Do solemnly swear that I will support the
Constitution of the United States.
the Constitution of Minnesota,
the Constitution of Minnesota,
the laws of the City of Owatonna,
The laws of the City of Owatonna.
and that I will faithfully and impartially discharge
And that I will faithfully and impartially discharge
the duties of the office of
the duties of the office of Public Utilities Commissioner, Public Library Board,
Human Rights,
Planning Commissioner,
Housing Rehab,
Thank you very much. Of the City of Owatonna,
the City of Owatonna,
to which I have been appointed,
to which I have been appointed,
to the best of my knowledge and ability, so help me God.
to the best of my knowledge and ability, so help me God.
Thank you very much for saying yes. Truly. You can sign them and just,
You want
then-
to just sign those, and I will take the original, I'll take both of them if you've got your information down as well. Thank you. You can. Just if you've got, just verify your information, your email address, phone number.
You're not swearing in the reappointments. You're not swearing in the reappointments again.
Council is that we have the Fire Code Board of Appeals and the Building Code of Appeals. And each members are 6 members. I'm asking Chris and Mark to take a look at that to see if we can combine those and then bring them forward. In the 11 years that I've been mayor, they have not met yet, so it's kind of repetitious to have 12 people sit on 2 boards that don't meet very often. The other thing is I do have one opening that I haven't filled yet. and that is the Airport Commission. So if anybody is interested in serving on the Airport Commission, I have one opening.
Thank you.
Thank you.
With that, we will move on to financial report, and I will give a quick recap of the financial report. $32,305 for Steele County Highway Department, West Beltline Pond. $38,559 for Steele County Treasurer for 2013 real estate taxes. $38,548 for Wenzel Construction for 2013 Park Driveway Sanitary Sewer relocate. $165,330 for McQueen Equipment, the Pelican Street Sweeper. $198,090 for Federal Signal Emergency Warning Sirens. $228,192 for other expenditures for a total of $701,026. To that, we add the May 1st Section 8 payments of $69,347 for a grand total of $770,373. What is the council's wishes?
Make a motion to pay the bills.
We have a motion by Kevin Rainey to pay the bills. Do we have a second to that? Second by Brent Svenby. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? These items have been approved. The next item on the agenda is a consent agenda items, which are minutes, license permits, board commission reports, event permits, miscellaneous items, and grouped together in one motion for quick passage. What is the council's wishes?
Motion we approve.
Motion to approve. Do we have a second to that?
I'll second.
Second by Raymond. Motion by Nate, second by Raymond. Any further discussion?
I've got questions in regards to the special use permits. Two in particular, the first one being the Just One More fundraiser. It says fundraiser. It's not specific in regards to what the fundraiser is. We were just given the financials tonight, so question in regards to what the fundraiser is. Have the bills been paid from last year's event? That's taken care of? Okay.
Say,
If you'd like, you could pull this off the consent, and then we could deal with it. And I'm sure Al
We
would.
will pull this out of the consent agenda item and deal with it on a separate.
All right.
we also want to pull off the event for the Steele County Fair because Public Works has not approved. Public Works is waiting for an estimate of their total amounts of things. And so Kyle had recommended that that's 2 months away yet. We know we're going to approve that, but he wants to give you a better estimate of what the Public Works costs will be for payments and cost in kind as well. So we are going to table that one also.
Okay, so we'll be pulling those two items.
Well, the fair one we will address at the next meeting, and the other one you can address here under action yet tonight.
Okay.
The fair one we're not addressing tonight?
We'll do that at the next meeting.
2.52 will be addressed separately tonight, and 2.54, which is the Steele County Fair, will be addressed at our next meeting.
Correct.
Okay.
I've also got a question in regards to the other run. Is that,
That was at last meeting already.
That was,
I thought that was on here.
no, there's one for Northridge Church,
Yeah,
the Walk for Freedom.
5K run. That's on this agenda.
That's,
Okay, yeah, that's fine.
you had a question?
No, I was going to add a question on the fair, but we're going to wait on the fair.
That's until next week, but
Okay.
we will take the Just One More out and deal with that separately. So with that, all of those, other than that one, we've added Corky's date change
Yep, everything the same, just for this weekend.
this
Excuse
weekend
me.
rather than last weekend. So with that, what is the council's wishes?
I'll make it. You have a motion.
We do have a motion? We do have
A second.
Okay.
You have a motion.
Any other discussion on that? With that, we'll,
I should just note my involvement with the fair boards.
Okay, that will deal with,
The one item for the barn bash. So.
you got the barn bash, so
Yeah, don't mind calling it.
you will abstain for voting on that one? Okay. So all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? This has been approved with one abstention. Now we'll deal with the just one more, while it's still fresh in our minds here. Chris, you have something to add to that?
Pardon me? You have some additional information that was handed out this evening, and the previous year's bill has been paid. And I think we've gotten some additional information on where the funds will be donated to, and I'm sure Al can speak to any other questions that you would like, that you may have.
Thank you. If you'd like to step up to the microphone, Al?
Alan Martin, Owatonna, Minnesota.
Okay, you have some questions that...
Yeah, Al, what is the fundraiser?
It's for the, we're donating
The Yellow Ribbon Suicide Prevention Chapter.
Okay, all right. I guess my question going forward on these with council is these tend to be very vague in regards to how much is given out for the, is given back in regards to these fundraisers, percentage of what total dollars along with percentage of what is raised. This isn't specific to the Just One More. This is a couple more that have come in. I would suggest that we really look at how we're doing our special use permits in regards to that in the future. Couple other questions, if you don't mind, Al. Cleanup is 1 o'clock to 3 a.m. And then along with that, kind of piggybacking, you've got signatures from business owners, but no residents. Are there residents that live?
There are a few, not very many.
Not very many?
No.
Okay.
We've never had complaints of that. I don't know how to get a hold of it, but the ones I know that
I'm right at the
it's very rough. Usually about 5 o'clock, that building's in
Not too.
Okay.
depot, and it's looking up there that I know.
Okay.
You're probably freezing, sit in the window and listen. No. Yeah. Sure.
What kind of documentation?
Anyone else have any questions?
In the past, what's been the amount you've been able to donate to the cause that you've?
Yeah, every year is different, depends what, it's been, our first one we had was the fire department, and the prevention was done, we did really well. After that, we're lucky lots of times if we make a few $100, so. Donate what we can.
Do you have a percentage of what you make on it that you donate?
We never had a percentage, we just, I guess, is there a rule or a law saying what we have to, or if we didn't have it for a fundraiser, we would be able to have a street dance, or?
Well, if it weren't a fundraiser, then it'd be a for-profit, which now the city is providing services to bring the facilities and everything down.
So even if we did, we should still be able to have a street dance.
But then you're going to have to pay for that services, yeah. Which it may be cheaper to rent the beer garden at the fairgrounds at that point than it would be to pay for the services to block the street off for 1 day.
Well, I understand that, but my intent is to have a street dance. There's lots of activities going out in the beer garden, so I'm just trying to do something that I think is good for Owatonna. Before I owned the bar, I've been on boards downtown, and we had a street dance, and that's more family oriented, but not everybody has a family. They might want to get up and have some fun also.
No, but what I'm saying is that if you're there to make money on it, then we can't do it for nothing.
No, I understand.
So, no, and if we have to charge for doing that, it may be cheaper to rent the beer garden. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, that'd have to be a business decision that you would have to make at that point. But, I think when we get into the when we get into the private business for-profit venture as opposed to a special use permit for the good of the community, I think that's two different areas that we really need to look at as a council, and costs involved, true costs involved.
Okay. Raymond, you had
Well, we have other street dances, and they never do for profit. We just help a lot of, do some money to help out to get the equipment down there. We do the one on the 100 block every year, and I mean, we do many things, I mean, to help out, and I think if it brings people to town and does something, I think it's great, you know, I guess. But, you know, we do something for nonprofit too. They don't make any, they make some money, but they never give it to anybody but themselves, you know.
Well, the only
for that organization at that time.
Well, I understand.
the only other street dance would be the Crazy Days, which is deemed a city
Function.
city event.
Celebration,
Chamber event.
That'd be a separate type of a deal. I would. That's what I am guessing anyway.
Okay.
I have a question for the city staff. I see we have an agreement now. As of yesterday, we didn't have an agreement, and there were a lot of questions and issues. Is staff satisfied with this agreement?
Yep. He's signed it. He's made his payment. There's another one due June 1st, so I think we're all squared away.
And I apologize for that. I did not know that until the next call.
Okay. Appreciate it.
I was missing that. I called Al today and asked him some of those questions, you know, it's because I was wondering about a couple of things. That's why I called you.
Okay. Any other questions by the council?
I'll move approval.
We have a motion by Raymond to approve this. Do we have a second to that?
Second.
Second by Nate Dodson. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? This has been approved. Thank you. Next item on the agenda is, let's see, we go to continuation of Board of Appeals and Equalization meeting, and with that, we'll go to Bill.
Good evening, Mr. Chair and members of the Board of Appeal and Equalization. I'm Bill Efforts. I'm the city assessor for Owatonna. Tonight, I have with me Tyler Dearson, appraiser in our office. Since our last meeting, our original meeting, April 22nd, there were several people that showed up that night. As instructed, we did review all those properties, and since that time, we did receive other phone calls. We have hopefully an all-inclusive list of everyone that we've talked to from the first night until this evening, and what those results, and this is what our recommendations would be. There's 3 pages. The last page, the third page, I guess, those are a list of concurrences where the property owners did concur with the results of our appraisal, and we would ask for the board to approve those. The first 2 pages are still open appeals, and so those, I guess those would still be up for board discretion.
Okay.
I just do want to comment that after tonight, the next method of appeal would be coming to the Steele County Board of Equalization, June 13th, in the boardroom at the Administrative Center at 5:30. And we would just ask that any resident that does wish to, resident or property owner, wish to come to that meeting, just give us a call so that we can adequately prepare.
So page 3, the concurrences are the ones that have been agreed upon?
Correct.
Okay. And that's what we would approve tonight?
Well, hopefully, we offer all of these recommendations up, all 3 pages.
Okay.
If there's anybody here in the audience that wishes to lend any additional information, I see Mr. Melder is here. That's your discretion.
Okay. Thank you. If anybody does want to comment on this, please step to the mic and well, please come up to the mic.
And sign in, identify, please. Thank you.
I haven't received anything. Am I on that list?
You most certainly are on the list.
Okay. Can I get a copy of the document?
Yes. We will send you a letter based on what the results of the Board of Appeals are. We'll send you a letter what those results
They're
are.
going to vote to accept or reject package in total or in partial?
That would be up to the board's discretion. I would recommend that we, after hearing from you, they certainly have that discretion to change it, but I just wanted to let you know that the next step in the appeals process is coming to the county board.
I guess what Gary is telling me is that he hasn't seen anything to know if it's been, he would agree with it or not yet.
I think we've spoke with Mr. Melder quite a bit and done some exhaustive appraisal. I think you know where we stand on the property, I hope.
Prior to April the 22nd, correct?
Yes, and
I haven't heard
it hasn't
anything
changed since April 2nd, 22nd.
So
I apologize if that wasn't clear, that we were firm on our recommendation on
okay.
April 22nd.
So your review is to leave it the same?
That would be correct.
Okay.
I'm sorry for any miscommunication.
So then we're still on for June?
Yep.
That's up to you, yes.
That's sworn in.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay. Any questions from the council?
So the ones that are still under review, those will likely could change, but approval of this in total will not affect the ones that are currently under review. Correct?
If I understand it right, yeah, they're still under review. We would ask you to, provide no change, but then by including them on this list, they will keep their options, their avenues of appeal open for the county board, and then we will continue to deal with them. There's one resident that had several properties that he called, and we just couldn't get to all of them at this point.
Okay, so basically what we would be doing is approving this, allowing it to move forward to the county. Is that correct?
Correct, Mr. Chair. That's what I would recommend.
Yeah. Okay, any other questions by the council? Chair will entertain a motion.
Make a motion to approve.
We have a motion to approve these as presented. Do we have a second to that?
Second.
Second by Dave Burbank. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? That approves these. Now we have minutes of the Board of Appeals meeting that we'll open up for comment. And would you be commenting on that, or Chris, as far as the, so we just approved these minutes as presented?
Yep.
So,
Unless you see any changes or,
if there's questions on these, we will look at that. If not, we'll approve them as the minutes are presented. So,
Make a motion to approve.
we have a motion by Nate to approve. Do you have a second?
Second.
Second by Greg Schultz. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? These have been approved also. And then we got the comments, 3.12. Okay, that's it. Now we move on to, thank you very much for.
Thank you, Mr. Chair and council members.
And that will now move on to the county level, so, right?
That's correct, sir.
Okay, thank you. Next item on the agenda is conditional use.
Will you notify all those property owners then about the county deal, or how do they get? Okay. Okay.
Right. Okay, that actually was a continuation of our
Yeah.
meeting from April. What we need to do now is adjourn that meeting, so we'll be looking for a motion to adjourn.
Move to adjourn.
A motion by Greg to adjourn, a second by Nate.
Sure.
Okay,
Second.
I thought I heard you.
I'll second that.
Any further discussion there? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Now that meeting has been adjourned, and we will now move on to conditional use permit number C 1351, Tailwinds Owatonna Limited Liability, construction of a 4,500 square foot building. And that will go to Troy.
The Tailwind Group, which is the developer of the old Hardee's Budget Mart site, is proposing to construct a 4,500 square foot retail structure. The structure would have 3 tenants. The southernmost tenant is proposed to have a restaurant with drive-through facilities. Parking is met on the site for all the tenants. If you look at the drive-up lane, there is stack room for 2 to 3 cars. We did suggest that the menu board be moved further to the south to allow for more stacking room. There will also be a 6-foot-high screen fence along the west property line there where we have residential neighbors. We did have a public hearing at the Planning Commission, and there was some questions on the traffic generation on site and the lighting. So Planning Commission recommended approval with 7 conditions there, and staff would recommend approval of this conditional use permit as recommended by the Planning Commission.
Thank you, Troy. Any questions from the council?
I move we approve.
Troy had mentioned that there was suggestion by the planning department to move that menu board further south on the property to allow additional stacking distance there. Because if you look at the site plan, I mean, it appears that 2 or 3 cars are able to stack there. Anything more than that would probably be out stacking out into 13th Street.
Yep.
I think we need to add a condition that that menu board be moved further to the south if feasible to allow more stacking available for vehicles. So I guess I would like to make a recommendation that we add a condition to that effect, that menu board, if it's feasible, to the south further.
Troy, did they accept that, or?
They are workable to that. There's been some talk that the design of the menu board is not done, and so there's been some discussion of maybe putting it on the building, the south side of the building, but all those details have not been figured out yet. So with what Brent had said there, we could add a condition on there to move the menu board further south, as far south as feasible on this project, to allow more stack room.
So that would be the condition that we would add to this?
Yeah, we could add that on there, yep.
I'll accept that.
Okay, so you're going to make a motion to that effect?
Sure.
Okay, we have a motion by Raymond to approve this with the menu board being added further south. Do we have a second to that?
Second.
Second by Brent. Any further discussion?
Are we just going to leave this to their discretion and just, we'd like it moved as far south as reasonable? Or is Planning Commission going to have to look at that again when they get final plans done, or what's the?
Well, staff has got some concern about stack room, and we do review the building plans when they come in.
Okay.
So you can leave it up to staff for review. If you wanted to go back to Planning Commission, that could be an option as well.
I'd be comfortable with staff.
Okay.
Approval.
The recommendation has been to as far south as possible. So
With
that's
approval. Right, with approval from planning staff.
Okay. Any other discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? This has been approved with that stipulation. Next one is conditional use 1352, Owatonna Public Utilities, repurposing existing power plant, building 1 foot above the regulatory floodplain elevation. Now we'll go to Troy.
With the plans of the repurposing of the Owatonna Public Utilities facility, there are 2 portions of the plans that require a conditional use permit under our floodplain ordinance. The first being a conditional use permit for the wet flood proofing of the facility. And what that is the first level of occupied space will be above the regulatory flood elevation. The lowest level, the basement level, will be allowed to flood during a flood event. And they do that by having vents close to the ground that allow water in. And there's actually a buoy system on the backside that once the water level gets to that, it opens up the vents, allows the lower level to flood, equalizing the pressure on the walls, and then it all can recede out. And there are overhead doors on the bottom there to help with the clean out when that does happen. The second portion is a conditional use permit for adding more than 1,000 cubic yards of fill to the site. If you look at the plans, they are doing a elevated parking garage, and to get the ramp up there, they are adding fill to bring that ramp level up to the garages, and they're adding about 2,900 square feet of cubic yards of fill for that. So those are the 2 portions of the conditional use permit. We have been working with the Department of Natural Resources and the State Floodplain Coordinator to get the design of this building to meet FEMA flood requirements. And all the parking requirements are met by this. And an interesting fact, after the repurposing, there will actually be 34.5% of the site will be green space, where right now it's 23.1. So they're actually adding more green space to the site with this repurposing. We did have a public hearing at Planning Commission. We did have some of the neighbors across the street with some questions and some concerns about what's going to be across the street. They like the open space now over there. That is reserved for future development of the public utilities site. So eventually, nothing's planned right now, but eventually there could be some buildings there. And they will, when those become reality or planned, we'll probably have additional hearings for the neighbors to know what's going on there. So staff would recommend approval of this conditional use permit as recommended by the Planning Commission.
Thank you, Troy. Any questions from the council? Chair will entertain a motion.
Make a motion to approve.
Troy, is that based on a 100-year flood, or where did they come up with that? Or
yeah, the elevation is based on a 1% chance of the flood level being at that. So it's commonly referred to as a 100-year flood event.
because the last time it got way out to the street and just in by Harlan's there, I mean, that's extreme.
If you look at the FEMA floodplain maps, the flood of 2010, where the waters came to almost exactly where the 100-year flood line was. So in theory, in that location, we had a 100-year event at that location.
Thank you.
Make a motion, we approve.
We have a motion by Nate to approve. Do we have a second to that?
Second.
Second by Kevin. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? This has been approved also. Now we will move on to resolutions. And we will go to Resolution 49-13, declare costs for proposed assessments, 2012 sidewalk improvement project. And with that, we'll go to Kyle.
Good evening. This is the 2012 miscellaneous sidewalk repair project. We pay half of the costs of the repairs, and the property owner pays half of the cost. In addition to that, there was one property that was held over from 2011, and that is also included in this. The total costs were approximately $53,915.12, and the proposed amount to be assessed is $24,938.21. It's not exactly half. We do some of our own work that doesn't get assessed out of this as well. So staff recommends approval.
Thank you, Kyle. Questions from the council? Raymond.
Has all these property owners been notified, Kyle? Or?
Yes, I believe so. It was all done before I started, but.
Yeah. I'll move we approve.
We have a motion by Raymond to approve. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second by Brent Svenby. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? This has been approved. Next one is Resolution 5113, accept bid and award contract for 12th Avenue Northwest project. We'll go back to Kyle.
No, we still have another resolution in there.
Another resolution.
Oh, I missed one. Okay.
5013.
5013, set date for public hearing on 2012 sidewalk improvements.
This is to set the date for the public hearing, proposed to be June 4th for the assessments on this previously mentioned sidewalk. Staff recommends approval.
Okay. Thank you. Sorry about that one. What is council's wishes on this?
Make a motion, we approve.
We have a motion by Nate to approve. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second by Dave Burbank. Any further discussion? Great.
Kyle, was this 211, was there some property owners to resolve this? This goes back to 2011, correct?
There's one property owner.
Has that been corrected? Or?
We've had discussions with them. It hasn't been resolved yet.
Okay.
We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Now we'll go to 5113 to accept the bid and award contract for 12th Avenue. So go back to you, Kyle.
Great. We received bids last Wednesday for a number of projects, the first of which was 12th Avenue Northwest reconstruction. We received 4 bids, and the low bidder was James Brothers Construction of Elysian. The amount of their bid was $616,219.49. Our engineers estimated a cost was $690,000, or the bid was 11% under our estimate. We feel comfortable with the bidder and recommend approval.
Thank you. Has this been designed yet and looked at by the residents in that neighborhood?
Yes, and we're going to be meeting again with one property owner that had requested a change. So,
but this bid has been based on the design that was presented.
Correct, and the changes that are proposed won't cost anything. So, a change to the curb isn't going to modify our costs.
So you won't increase them or anything?
No, I don't believe so.
Okay, thank you. Raymond?
Is this company a newer company? I've never heard of it.
I have not worked with them before, but I did talk with some others, and they and they've had good experiences, and I believe they're also in town, have an office with D&M Construction down off Hoffman Drive.
Okay.
Yeah, they purchased D&M.
Okay.
Move to approve.
We have a motion by Greg to approve. Do you have a second?
Second.
Second by Kevin Rainey. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? This has been approved. Now we'll go on to 5213, accept bid and award contract for 2013 School Street reconstruction. And again, Kyle.
This is the school street reconstruction brought on by the failing storm sewer pipe between Oak Avenue and Cedar Avenue. We received 4 bids. Hazelton Construction of Faribault was the lowest responsible bidder. Their bid was $511,725.01. The engineer's estimate was $592,000. They were 13% under our estimate. We are comfortable with the low bidder and recommend approval.
Thank you. Questions from the council?
Move we approve.
We have a motion by Raymond to approve. Do you have a second?
Second.
Second by Nate Dotson. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? This has been approved also. Now, 5313 resolution to accept bid and award contracts for 2013 Northwest Industrial Park Pond Project. And Kyle, ahead again.
Hopefully this is the last one. Again, last Wednesday we received bids for the Northwest Industrial Park Pond Project. This is in conjunction with the Viracon expansion. We received 3 bids. The lowest responsible bidder was Bornicke Construction of Janesville, Minnesota. I have spoken with them. They're comfortable with their bid of $1,472.82. The engineer's estimate was $1,137,000. Or 12% under the engineer's estimate. One thing I want to note, alternate number 1 was to place some fill on a site on the north side of town. We are trying to come up with a closer location for the hall and hopefully save some costs. The alternate came in as an add, so it actually added costs to the bid. So we're recommending rejection of alternate number 1 and just staying with the base bid. I've talked with the contractor, and I'm comfortable with them and recommend approval of the bids.
So we would be approving just the base bid of $1 million?
Correct.
Okay. Any questions from the council?
Make a motion to approve.
We have a motion by Nate to approve. Do you have a second?
Second.
Go with Greg. Second on this one. Raymond.
Are you going to sometime look at the alternate again? what's your plan? Just kind of let it set for a while, or?
Yeah, we've indicated to the property owner that we are interested in the site, and we'd like to work with them going forward, but it didn't work out at this time. So hopefully we can come up with another solution at some point in the future.
Was he in agreement to drop the alternate when you look at the numbers, when you add that much to the base bid, it makes was they comfortable with, because that alternate really made it bigger,
Right. And they were disappointed that, as were we, that it didn't work out to be lower, but understood that at that cost we couldn't go forward.
Because they were twice as high as the other bidder for the alternate. They were twice as high than the second bidder on the alternate.
Right. And we expected it to be negative, like the number 3 bidder had.
Mm-hmm.
We don't know what their haul site is going to be in advance, so they must have found something that was more convenient.
Okay.
What's the start and completion date on this project, Kyle?
The exact date I don't have, but it's around the 20th of September or late September. Start date we haven't discussed with them yet. Once we get the contracts to them, we will set up a pre-construction meeting and get their schedule.
Okay, thank you.
But I expect there'll be a good 30 days of hauling involved. So there's a lot of material coming out of that site.
Any other questions from council? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? This has been approved. Now we go to Resolution 5413, authorization for agreement with National Development Council, and we'll go to Troy with that.
The city has entered into a development agreement with Viracon for the construction of the 100,000 square foot addition onto their existing facility. The city agreed to assist the company in pursuing new market credits for the project. Obtaining new market tax credits is a competitive process and involves a very lengthy and complicated application process. A private company cannot apply for the new market credits, but a city can. To issue appropriate resources, or to ensure appropriate resources and expertise in the application process, the city would need the assistance of a consultant. National Development Council gets allocated federal funds for the new market tax credits and has processed many successful applications. There is a fee to NDC for services, and that's $60,000. This would be paid for by Viracon in one lump sum. This is no cost to the city, and we would ensure that the fee is paid before we actually sign the agreement. The city is merely a financing conduit for this project, and that was all discussed during our discussions with the development agreement, that we would help them pursue those tax credits. So staff would recommend approval of Resolution 5413, authorizing signing of the agreement with the National Development Council.
Thank you, Troy. Raymond?
What's the purpose for this, Troy? What would be the, what's the purpose?
It's financial. They're tax credits, so they're pursuing tax credits to help with the financing of the project.
Any other questions from the council?
Move to approve.
We have a motion by Greg Schultz to approve. Do we have a second? Do we have a second to that motion?
I will second that.
Second by Dave Burbank. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? This has been approved also. Now we move on to ordinances 3.51, second reading of proposed ordinance 413, street closure of 4th Street Northwest. And then we'll go back to Troy.
So this is the second reading of the vacation of 4th Avenue for the Viracon project as well. We had the first reading a few months back. We held off on the second reading until the project has started. We got into snow plowing questions and that sort of thing. And see, we had to snow plow it all the way into May. So we're doing the second reading now because we've begun construction out there. So staff would recommend approval of second reading of the street vacation of 4th Avenue.
Thank you, Troy. And this being the second reading, what is the council's wishes?
Move to approve.
We have a motion to approve by Greg Schultz. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second by Brent Svenby. Any further discussion? This being an ordinance, I ask for roll call.
Councilmember Svenby.
Aye.
Trilson.
Aye.
Dotson.
Aye.
Schultz.
Aye.
Burbank.
Aye.
Rainey.
Aye.
And Abraham.
Aye. This has been approved unanimously, and with that, that is the final step on that process, right, Troy? Second reading was the final step on that.
Yes. Yep.
Okay, thank you. And with that, we'll move on to the first reading, proposed ordinance 713, street closure, portion of Mill Street by the Owatonna Public Utilities. And that will go back to you, Troy.
Again, with the Owatonna Public Utilities repurposing, we looked at the whole site, and there's still a portion of Mill Street that's dedicated right away. It's west of Walnut Avenue, goes right in front of their garages there. And if you remember, that used to be the entrance, one of the entrances into the park that has been closed off for a while now. So in order to, it's a housekeeping item here really to vacate that as public right away. We did hold a public hearing. No one had any issues with the vacation of the right of way there since there's really no access for the public there. So staff would recommend approval of the vacating of the right of way as recommended by the Planning Commission.
Thank you, Troy.
So moved.
We have a motion by Raymond to approve. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second by Nate. Any further discussion?
Utilities taking ownership then of repair of that and everything?
Yep, so that becomes part of their site, and so I think there's the curb line, you know, and everything, and that wouldn't even need to be there anymore. If they wanted to redesign that, they could do that.
When was that closed off, 10? How long was that closed off?
Probably 15 years ago.
15 years ago?
Yes.
Yeah.
Troy, I've got a question in regards to that alleyway that goes along north and south. Is that an actual alley, or is that a service road for the utilities?
That was a service road. There was never a dedicated alley right away. That was always a service road. The residents there, you know, used it, and I think that with permission, used it as an alleyway. That was, you know, one of the reasons to keep that Mill Street right away in place is so they would have, you know, public access to that service road, which OPU allowed them to use. With all the houses gone now, there's really no need for any of that anymore.
Okay.
Any further discussion? Again, being an ordinance, ask for roll call. Jeanette?
Councilmember Svenby.
Aye.
Trulson.
Aye.
Dotson.
Aye.
Schultz.
Aye.
Burbank.
Aye.
Rainey.
Aye.
and Abraham.
Aye. Again, this first reading is all ayes. This will come up at our next council meeting in 2 weeks for the second reading. And now we will move on to 3.53, first reading of Z 321, public utilities rezoning property from R6 high density. And Troy.
Again, with the repurposing of public utilities, the zoning, there's 2 zoning classifications on the whole site. B3 Central Business District on the current facility where all the houses were along Walnut Avenue. That was in an R6 high-density residential zone. So again, to get everything into one zoning district, they're requesting the rezoning of the R6 property to a B3 Central Business District. We did have a public hearing at Planning Commission on that. We did have neighbors ask about, you know, what that means. Again, they don't have any immediate plans to do anything with the green space down there right now. And so they like the green space. And so whenever anything would be built there, again, that would likely trigger a conditional use permit for them. The neighbors have said that public utilities have been a good neighbor down there, so they're not too concerned of anything too bad being there.
Okay.
So staff would recommend approval of the zone change request from R6 to B3.
Thank you. Raymond?
Is that going to be leveled off and then grass seeded and mowed?
Well, what you see right now is the lower line area is seeded, so hopefully we'll see all that as grass. There is a graveled area there, crushed rock area there, where it's kind of overflow parking. They will be using that area for staging during the repurposing and construction, so there will be some equipment on there. That was indicated to the neighbors during that public hearing as well, and so they're aware of that.
But that the rest of that where those homes were,
Yeah.
that was designed to be recessed in case of extra water capacity. So that's why it was done that way, but it is seeded. So, any questions from the council?
So move.
I guess I feel like Ray does in regard to that, right? It's not aesthetically pleasing down there. as it sits right now. And I understand holding water and that, but I would hope that they would make that more aesthetically pleasing to the people that have to look at that every day.
I think once you see the grass growing there, it's going to.
They did do planting of the seeds late in the season last year, and hopefully all that'll come up. But that will be, their intention is for that to be green space. So anything that doesn't come up well will likely be reseeded there.
Okay.
Nice place to have a neighborhood picnic.
Okay. Chair is looking for a motion.
I approve.
We already had a motion.
Motion by Raymond, second by,
I'll second.
okay, second by Nate. I mean, Kevin. So, with that, any other questions? And again, being an ordinance, ask for roll call.
Councilmember Svenby.
Aye.
Trolson.
Aye.
Dodson.
Aye.
Schultz. Burbank.
Aye.
Rainey.
Aye.
And Abraham.
Aye. All approved. Now we have 3.54, reading First Amendment to Code Section 500-20, fees and charges and rates established. And we'll go, let's use,
I've got that.
I'm sorry.
I can take that.
Yes, that's what I was going to.
You'll recall that last October, the council adopted an ordinance procedure for the collection of delinquent utility accounts through the special assessment process pursuant to the charter provision and the statutes in that regard. The proposed amendment is to make it clear that that procedure applies to current delinquent accounts, to apply to accounts that were delinquent presently. It's well to note that this does not create either a new penalty or a new lien, because our charter already provides for a lien on properties serviced upon which there exist unpaid accounts. So this is what is known as a procedural ordinance, as opposed to one that would be substantive and changing or divesting rights.
With that, you recommended change?
Recommended the change. And Joe Green is here from the utilities, and this is a proposal along with the management of the OPU.
Okay.
There's Joe.
You have any more to add to that, Joe?
I do not.
Okay, thank you.
Make a motion we approve.
We have a motion by Nate to approve. Do we have a second? Second by Brent Svenby. Any further discussion?
I've got a question. How far delinquent are some of these?
Joe Green, Owatonna Public Utilities, over 90 days, well past 90 days, in fact. Some are several years.
And I guess, at what point are they no longer serviced by the city of Owatonna?
Some are still served.
Correct.
Yeah.
My question is, how long does that go on? When?
What would trigger a service shut-off if they get that far out?
If they will not enter into a payment agreement with utilities, if they are disconnected, if they've left town. And actually, these wouldn't be rental properties. These would be property owners. There still are those customers that are delinquent on their accounts that are renting or don't own the property. But these are just property owners.
Have any of them entered into an agreement in the payment process, or?
The list is down to 24 now.
Okay.
It was as high as, I think, 65. So we've worked, as hard, diligently with as many as we can contact to try and avoid putting a tax lien on their property.
And you will be continuing to work with the rest of them?
Oh, yes, absolutely. Yeah.
So the list we had a couple weeks ago, that's the one we're still working off of?
That's correct.
Okay.
But that's been downgraded then, that list?
In the last two, I think we've maybe one or two.
Oh, really? Okay.
Possibly. I think we're at 24.
We had a list 3 weeks ago, I guess.
Because we bill once a month, that we can't. We have to wait until the next billing cycle.
Right. Mm-hmm. Okay, thank you. Any other questions from the council?
What was the delay? Was there some legal, why we waited?
Right.
Okay.
Let's see, we have a motion? No.
So moved.
We have motion and second.
What's that? Yes, we do
Got a
have a
motion
motion
and
and
a
a
second.
second. And again, this being an ordinance, ask for roll call.
Councilmember Svenby.
Aye.
Trulson.
Aye.
Dotson.
Aye.
Schultz.
Aye.
Burbank.
Aye.
Rainey.
Aye.
Abraham.
Aye. And that has been approved for the first reading, and we will have the second reading at our next council meeting in 2 weeks. And with that, we move on to contracts and agreements, which would be 3.61, development agreement with Tailwind Group Incorporated, and we go to Troy.
Tax increment financing has been approved for the redevelopment of the old Hardee's Budget Mart site. This allows the city to enter into a development agreement with the property owner, Tailwind Group. Under the agreement, Tailwind Group would construct a 7,000 square foot office building and 3,500 square foot commercial building, and the city would agree to realign Barney Street at the intersection of Oak Avenue. The total increment amount is $220,000 in today's dollars. Public improvements are estimated at $100,000. Demolition of existing buildings and site work is eligible for up to $100,000 of tax increment generated from the project. There's also TIF money set aside to cover administrative costs. The TIF district would run up to 25 years, although we are anticipating that the obligation would be completed in 15 years. All current taxes that are being paid now by the property owner would continue to be paid throughout the TIF district, so we're keeping that level. The city would bond for the public improvements, which would be paid back from the tax increment of the project. Under the agreement, the city would be reimbursed first for the street improvements, and the developer next as a pay-as-you-go TIF. So as tax money is paid in above what is owed to the city for the street improvements, that would go back to the developer up to that $100,000 maximum. So staff would recommend authorizing signing of the development agreement with Tailwind Group Incorporated.
Thank you, Troy. Questions from the council? Look for a motion.
So moved.
We have a motion by Raymond to approve. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second by Kevin Rainey. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? This has been approved. Now we move on to policies. 3.71, liquor license compliance policy, and there we go to Chris.
Thank you, Les. What you have before you is our current liquor license compliance policy, and we're asking the council to just clarify and do some housekeeping here. As we were reviewing this, we noted that it was not clearly communicated that there was a time frame for failure to comply. So we wanted to just include the language within a 12-month period so that it's consistent throughout the policy. Staff would recommend approval.
Thank you, Chris. Any questions from the council?
Move to approve.
We have a motion by Greg Schultz to approve. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second by Nate Dotson. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? This has been approved. With that, we'll move on to public comment, and if anyone would like to speak, please come up to the microphone, and we'll give you about 2 minutes to speak on items that are not on the agenda or have not been on the agenda today.
Be nice.
Please sign in, please.
Janet Springer from Owatonna. My husband owns that lot across from the Law Enforcement Center, 215 East Pearl Street. And I heard there was comments on the last one, so I came here to tell you what we're up to. There's a pile there, but that is limestone rock that came from the basement. The city said that, yeah, we could take it out, crush it up, and then put it back in the hole. Well, instead we screened it, because then someone wanted to buy it and use it as pavers for decorative, but they haven't gotten it yet. And then there's a small little pile of concrete, but that's going to be taken out at the end of the month, and then we're going to reseed it. So that's basically what is there. And then I also want to comment that I run the compost site. We have the contract there. And in the paper, it said, I had a lot of people argue with me, saying that it was $6 a load instead of $6 a yard, that we reduced it, from 8 to 6. So I don't know if you'll be able to be getting complaints about it or not, but I've had some that have been really angry at me, saying, well, no, it's $6 a yard, and well, you have 2 yards there, or you have a yard and a half, and then I charge them 9 or 12. And so that's all I want to say. If that could get corrected in the paper or not.
I guess what I would say there, Janet, is you need to talk to the paper about that, because that is beyond our control as far as what goes into the paper.
Okay.
But at this point, I've not heard any complaints about what's happening out there.
Okay, yeah, because I know we've gotten a lot. And then the other place has charged a lot cheaper. So, and then they said, well, I only get to charge you this much. I said, well, I'm open later till 6 o'clock. They close at 4:30. And I said, well, I have longer hours. But some people are understanding and others aren't. So that's all I wanted to say.
Thank you. And as a note, that the only things that we can take are what's boulevard items.
And I was just going to say, what I had planned to do when it comes to my turn is I'm going to read the policy that's on our website that we've sent to the paper and to the radio, just to reinforce that, because I know we've gotten calls too, and there's some confusion.
Yeah, I've had a lot of calls too, and then they said, well, gosh, we shouldn't have picked that up, and now we're getting charged for it.
Yeah. So we're trying to make it clear. So, yeah, I'm going to read that right at the end here. So.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else?
Just, could I add on that a minute?
Yes, Raymond.
I was driving around Mills on Wheels today, and I think people are kind of drug everything to the curb like they're just waiting for us to come. I think there's some misunderstanding. If it was in your backyard, it's not boulevard trees. And as I'm driving around, I bet I saw 50 piles where people just sitting right on the curb like, we're going to come and fix it. But I don't think there's a...
Yep, residents are required to take care of their own property. The city is only picking up on the public rights-of-way or boulevard trees. Those are the ones we're picking up. Everything else you're responsible for, and our compost site has agreed to, a lesser fee, which is very generous, very nice, and they are open additional hours as well. That reduced fee only goes until May 18th. So we would just ask everyone to please take care of your debris. We're also handing out some, as you said, there are some folks putting it on the boulevards already, and even furniture and different items. And certainly that is not, the city's not going to pick that up. And so we're handing out copies of the policy to those property owners who may have misunderstood what's going on. So.
Did get one call. It was a bank-owned house, and the tree ended up half in the street. As of yesterday, it was just cones around it. But I don't know if we're going to have to try to take care of that one. But I'll have to drive up there and look at it tomorrow.
Well, we'll take a look at that.
But there's nobody in the home. It's repossessed.
Okay.
Okay. Anyone else wish to speak? With that, we'll move on to council comment, and we'll start with Brent.
Just want to say thanks to all the city employees for their hard work they did last Thursday with that snowstorm, and also their work with all the trees and stuff that were in the boulevards and the streets. So thanks to the city employees for their hard work.
Thank you, Brent. Raymond.
Could you send us an update schedule where we're at in the next couple of months, where we're going to be?
Sure.
If you would do that, appreciate it.
Nate.
Nothing to add.
Thank you. Greg.
Nothing this evening.
Dave.
Nothing from Ward 3.
And I'll skip Kevin. Kevin.
I want to congratulate Beth Svenby and her group. As cold as it was and snow on the ground, Lake Colmeyer was packed with people Saturday. It's a very worthy cause, and to see that many people out there, despite the elements, that was great. There were no problems with parking down there. Very well taken care of. The other thing I would say is in regards to the tree removal, be patient. Our crews, we only have so many people, and they're working extremely hard to clean up as much as they can daily.
Thank you, Kevin. Mr. Mayor.
Nothing to add.
Thank you. Chris.
All right, just to reinforce, the city is only picking up those trees and branches that are located on the public rights-of-way or boulevard trees. We are not picking up private property tree branches. Those you are responsible for, and we suggest that you bring it to the Owatonna Yard Waste Compost site located on 32nd Avenue. They have extended hours, and they've reduced their rates to $6 per yard, per cubic yard. And that rate will go in effect until May 18th. Our debris removal policy is on our website, and you can easily access it that way. We've also sent it to the radio and the newspaper as well. So just a quick reminder on that. Our next coffee with the council will be on May 18th at 9 o'clock at the kitchen from 9 to 10, and come join us there and have a cup of coffee and talk about anything that you'd like to, any concerns that you may have. And just a reminder for the public, council meets first and third Tuesday of every month. We have a deadline. If you want to be on our agenda, we must receive your materials by Thursday by, in the morning by, let's say, 9 o'clock, prior to the Tuesday council meeting. That allows our staff enough time to review and make sure we have all the information and find out questions, and so that we could put it in the packet. So just a reminder, if you need to get on our agenda, you need to give it to us the Thursday morning before the Tuesday council meeting. And that's all I had, sir.
Thank you. And to talk about the trees and brush on the curb, bringing it from your backyard to the curb doesn't constitute
No, that is not. Yeah.
being on the boulevard.
Exactly. And I also want to add my thanks to our city staff. They've worked extremely hard, department heads on down during a very challenging time. Mike Johnson and Kyle Scove and everyone have worked extremely hard during that significant snow event, and I think did a really good job.
And I think a lot of the equipment is already broken down and put away.
Yes.
For the snow removal, so they had to scramble to get it back.
Typically don't have the snow plows on in May, but
Right.
yes.
So anyway, again, they did a wonderful job. I've gotten a lot of compliments, and I want to thank them for the job they've done with the plowing and with the tree removal at this point. And I have nothing further to add, so we'll be looking for a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
We have a motion by Raymond to adjourn. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second by Kate. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
I have a sheet that you each all need to sign again for